racing experience. Wow, racing maps await you. The new racing template is online. Create your racetrack gameplay. Navigate the forest racetrack. Unleash your racing passion. Surpass your opponents. Become the king of speed. Unlimited speed. Ignite your passion for speed. Play WoW now.
The world converges. The race to be the one begins. The 2025 PUBG Mobile Global Championship will be held in Bangkok, Thailand from November 24th to December 14th. The ultimate stage where legends are forged and champions are crowned. Let's dive into this year's updated format. The journey starts with the Gauntlet, a high-stakes 3-day stage where momentum and pressure peak from day one. The top 7 advance directly to the grand finals. Teams ranked 8 through 16 head to the group stage. Also new, Rondo replaces Senhawk in the map rotation, starting each match day. After the Gauntlet, the PMGC continues with Group Green from November 2 groups of 16. In the group stage, the mission is simple. Finish in the top 3 of your group to secure a spot in the grand final. Play 4 through 11 and you get one last chance to stay in the fight. Land in the bottom 5 and you're eliminated. Once the groups are over, the final 2 grand final spots are determined in the last chance stage. 16 teams compete over 2 days on December 6th and 7th with no room for error. Only the top 2 keep their dream alive. After the PMGC League concludes, it's time for the final fight. The grand finals, the best of the best. 16 PUBG Mobile teams, including the host country, invite. Prove they are the one. The epic conclusion takes place from December 12th to the 14th. Who will ride on the road to glory, claim the crown, and take the lion's share of $3 million prize pool? Who will write their names in history? The journey to greatness begins here. Welcome to the 2025 PUBG Mobile Global Championship.
I don't think any PMSL champion teams are stronger than us.
ممكن اقول لرؤوف طور لعبه لانه حبي احنا جايين ندمرك. بالتاكيد يعني احنا ابطال بمثل عربي مينا ريجن من افضل الريجنات بالعالم.
Chúng tôi khá là tự tin ạ, bởi vì chúng tôi là đầu tiên vô địch SEA nên chúng tôi không phải chúng tôi đã đạt được thành tích trong lần này thì chúng tôi đến đây mục tiêu phá kỷ lục chúng tôi và cố gắng sẽ đạt sau hết trong lần này.
I think we will qualify straight to the final.
اذا انت بطل بمثل ممكن تكون محظوظ بجيمين اما انك تكون محظوظ انك تفوز بطوله هذا الشيء مستحيل.
Đi Milan tại vì họ là một đội mới nên họ sẽ có những tâm lý khá là bất hảo.
Büyük ihtimal Wolves.
I think probably Virtus Pro just looks like that.
Не знаю, сказать, что они удачи нормально сыграли, там нет неудачного суда. И те, кто на удачу выиграл. Я посмотрел, типа, фавориты своих регионов выиграли.
Wolves esports. They have coups. Best player in the world in my opinion.
Đội TP tại vì cái khu vực nước khá là căng thẳng và họ chứng minh bản thân mình từ những ngày đầu tiên.
İyiler, kötü değiller ama heyecanlı oynuyorlar.
Я считаю, что из всех победителей PMSL мы являемся самой сильной командой.
Virtus Pro çok iyi oynadı. DX zaten bu PUBG Mobile oynadığımdan beri hiç sevmiyorum oyun tarzlarını. Kendilerini seviyorum ama oyun tarzlarını hiç sevmiyorum. Yani bölgeleri güçsüz olduğu için ben MENA bölgesi demek istiyorum. Oradaki takımları biraz daha vurmak kolay diyebilirim. Main fight hariç.
I don't think any PMSL champion teams are stronger than us.
Я думаю, для нашей команды будет легче всего зарабатывать поинты на плюсах с Англией.
ممكن اقول لرؤوف طور لعبه لانه حبي احنا جايين ندمرك.
Em muốn những người một lần nhắc đến đội đầu tiên vô địch BBL Milan các trường họ có thể là khá là ổn bên cuộc đấy nhưng ra đây chúng tôi chưa chắc các bạn là được.
Yes, I think we have a lower strength than the other teams, but I think this is benefits us. It's in our advantage because the teams don't know how we're really going to play.
içerisinde binada en beklenmedik pozisyonda kim oynuyor?
Silas.
Berkan abi. Hayat.
İlk başta fight atarken kim ölüyor?
Silas.
Hala Toto.
Fight içerisinde fight olarak değil de genel olarak panik yapabilen kim?
Arda mı?
Hayır tabii ki.
Ha, tamam Arda ben de o zaman.
Ben değilimdir ben. Sonra gelemem. Tamam tabii ben. Mouse'u değil. Evet tabii.
En iyi karar veren Silas, en iyi aim de bence
Hepimizin
White'dır ya aynen. Sincan'dan.
evet, yanlış yere geldik. En kötü arasında koşun bir takım adam gördü.
Takımda en iyi eğime sahip olup da kötü kararlar verebilen da IP'yi hiç dinlemeyen, kendi kafasına göre hareket eden kim?
Macera karar verdim.
Ben olabilir.
Bence kim?
Gelsin abi yerine kadar.
Kimse yok ya. Molan.
En fazla konuşan kim?
Berkin abi.
Silas.
Küçük kardeş statüsünde kim var?
White.
En küçük sensin oğlum.
Takımda diğer oyuncuları en çok kim götürüyor?
White.
En fazla şikayetçi olan kim?
Loxi.
Mahmut.
Loxi. Net Loxi bu arada.
Yani bir şikayetimiz yok ya.
En geç uyanan kim?
White.
En fazla yemek yiyen kim?
Aynen bu nasıl bir soru yani?
Yani
şöyle.
Bizi izlediğiniz için teşekkür ediyoruz. Çok komik bir takımız. Görüşürüz.
racing experience. Wow, racing maps await you. The new racing template is online. Create your racetrack gameplay. Navigate the forest racetrack. Unleash your racing passion. Surpass your opponents. Become the king of speed. Unlimited speed. Ignite your passion for speed. Play WoW now.
이 정도?
진짜?
못할 것 같은데?
100% первое место. 안녕하세요. 디플러스 기아 팀 놀부입니다. 안녕하세요. 디플러스 기아 우살이라고 합니다.
Меня зовут Вик, я из команды Gauntlet.
Я Киржи из команды Gauntlet. Сегодня мы пришли в гранд-финал PMGC и будем выбирать кредитку на группу Red.
맞아. 스위치드 마인. 일단 잘 모르겠어가지고
Куда их поставим? Куда начнем?
4등. 되게 신중하지 않았어?
Мне попались Вихар. Я думаю, что они где-то в конце будут отдыхать, потому что коммерческие турики они так сыграли.
ARC? 일단은 이걸로 하겠습니다.
Только потому, что они наши друзья. Им поставили Веру, что это 5 место.
Ей. Зайцы, учитывая опыт Гаулета, возможно, топ-8.
좀 싱글한 팀인데, 인투스 레이. 근데 좀 과감하게 그.
Ну, где-то возле детей поставим. Они 50 не
잘 모르겠어서 한 11등? Смотря их игры, мне кажется, все-таки группа для них будет непростой и где-то на 7 месте.
이번에 그 양본을 꺾고 올라왔어서 좀 잘할 수도 있지만 또 세계대회에서는 경험이 중요하다 보니까 조심히 가시면 되겠습니다.
이 정도?
진짜?
못할 것 같은데?
급하 물어봤지.
올라오는 거지. 그냥 오케이. 100% первое место.
몇 등이라 생각해?
3등? 그러면 2등?
그건 뭐야? 몰라, 2등 아니면 3등 할 수.
Очень сильный коллектив, который упал, но поднимется на свое место.
PMX? 일단 건틀렛에서 하는 거 봐서 한 5등?
에? 나 한 2점 줘야 되는 거 아니야? 2점?
아니요, 2점? 한 2점?
한 2점.
오케이. сильно?
Нет.
Ну, 4 место.
ETSH. 새로운 팀인데요, 이게.
TR? 14등? Это я вообще не знаю, кто. Наверное, где-то тут.
저도 한 이쪽 반열까지. 오케이.
Во,
Китайцы, которые неплохо показали свою игру, будут на 3-м месте.
처음 보는 팀이 몰라요, 뭐 어떤 팀인데.
유명한 말레이시아 팀인데 요즘 좀 많이 흔들리는 것 같아서 한 2쯤 들어와 있습니다.
Будто нужно было расставить на 4 места.
어떤 팀인지 몰라요, 이거. Ну, NRZ оставить, как будто.
바꿀게. 아니, 나는 솔직히 한 2쯤?
아, 그건 아닌 것 같은데, 여기로.
네, 여기로 가고. No pick this. I don't say anything.
Теперь пишешь у нас кредитку.
Возможно, мы были неправы, и команда на деле окажется сильнее, чем мы думали.
또 여러분들도 좀 많은 예측과 기대를 좀 해주시고 다들 화이팅!
tekanan tu memang ada. Bila bawa nama Malaysia, saya bukan main untuk diri sendiri je. Saya main untuk komuniti, untuk fans dan orang yang percaya pada kami.
Bom, o ano passado foi muito especial para a gente. Senti que estávamos ali a um passo do título. Mas às vezes, por mais que você se esforce, o resultado não vem. Essa derrota ficou com a gente e nos mudou.
آخر سنة ما راحت بالطريقة اللي ردناها، حاولنا وتعبنا بس بالأخير ما حصلنا النتيجة اللي ردناها.
My first PMGC taught me a lot about myself, the pressure, the nerve, the mistake you can make only on war stage. Now I'm here with a new roster, but my goal is still the same, to perform the way I know I can, to play with clarity, confidence and discipline.
A gente está aqui para jogar e ser feliz e buscar o topo. Sim, a gente está ainda mais confiante. Eu acredito que a PMGC vai ser a melhor de todos os tempos da Influence Age.
أنا واثق من نفسي هواي واثق من تيمي هواي أيضا ونتأمل ناخذ توب 1.
Perjalanan PMGC kita orang pada tahun 2024 boleh dikatakan sangat teruk. Kami langsung tak berjaya untuk lepas ke next stage. Tapi 2025 akan berbeza. Saya tak akan biarkan kesilapan yang sama berlaku dua kali.
It's not my fault, but I always come back.
Don't get it twisted. Our talent was never the problem.
Bom, este ano voltamos com mais fome, mais disciplina e com a mentalidade bem mais clara. Acredito que este é o nosso momento.
Saya tak nak orang lain ingat, tim Malaysia ni datang untuk bercuti je. Tapi saya nak diorang tahu yang kita orang boleh bagi saingan terbaik untuk tim-tim global.
Sonraki maçta hızlı geçirmiş olabilirim galiba.
Alo, anneciğim ne yapıyorsun?
Anneciğim, iyiyim bebeğim. Sen ne yapıyorsun?
İyi, ben de çok iyiyim valla. Maçları izledin mi?
Ama izledim ben onu krizleri geçirdim. Bana ikiye çıktınız, iki tanıdınız, geri üçe düştünüz, geri ikiye çıktınız. Ben kriz geçiriyordum yani olsun. O da değil mi? Üç yıl falan takıldı.
Vallahi. İş yerinde de formayla yani şey yaptın değil mi? Formayla gittin. İyi, sen ne yapıyorsun? Ben de sana izledim valla. Uyumuşum bile, uyuyakalmışım. Öyle işte. Tamam. Ben de seni seviyorum. Öptüm hadi.
Hadi arkadaşlarına çok çok selam söyle.
Aleykümselam.
Yok canın sağlığı. Bunları da tebrik ettiğimi söyle. İleteyim hepsine tek tek.
Tamam, aleykümselam. Onların da selam var sana.
Tamam, aleykümselam anneciğim, hadi görüşürüz.
Hadi görüşürüz, öptüm hadi.
The action continues as Group Red is ready to take the stage at the PUBG Mobile Global Championship 2025.
The circle hasn't even started to push in yet. You're challenging a team that has cover right now.
Finally, he lays down the law, and just one player now remaining. Federal steps forward. He's given it a good go. The dance around the rocks. It's a 1v1 for the peak, but they will not be denied this time. 5 elims in the second place would be brilliant. It will be taken down. Wayball Gaming able to find a chicken dinner. Cold as brass, and the players maybe got through. I'd say not peeking this. Finally will close this down. PRX take the chicken dinner. All chunks, but it's not enough for the whole shebang. It is Team Flash to be able to take down a chicken dinner. Coming up on high from Easy for Bad Boy to do so much. And it is Red to be able to mount that, take the ghouls out of the running.
Merhabalar, ben Berke Sayarsettin, Regional Kale Sports'ta ayrıca konulu oynuyorum. PUBG'ye ilk çıktığı günden beri oynuyorum. Ailem o zamanlar izin vermiyordu. Gizli oynuyordum. E-spor yoktu o zaman ama başka oyunların e-sporlarını takip ediyordum. Yani bir e-sporcu olmak istiyordum. PUBG Mobile'da buna açık.
Who have won the title? RCB picked to the post in South Korea. D plus Kia.
Benim için geçmişte kaldı ama aklıma geliyor illa ki tabii.
bazen. Geceleri özellikle turnuva bittikten sonraki ilk aylar böyle geceleri editleri açıp falan izlerdim yani, duygulanırdım. Ama ileriye bakmak lazım yani bir yerden sonra. O yüzden o turnuvaya dair herhangi bir şey hissetmiyorum. İkincilikte sonuçta güzel bir başarı. Ama son maçtaki talihsiz alanlardan sonra nasip değildi. Belki bu sene olabilir yani. Yani bu sene güzel başladık. Yani WC'de daha iyi bir sonuç getirebilseydik bu sene benim senem diye, yani bizim senemiz diyebilirdim yani. Aslında daha yani çok uzun bir yolum var. Elimden geldiğince çok şey kazanıp kendimle tarihin güzel bir yerine yazmak istiyorum yani. Bu işi en iyi şekilde yapmak istiyorum. Dünyanın belki de en başarılı e-sporcularından biri olmak istiyorum kendi alanımda. Takım değiştirip de iyi olmamın sebebi de birazcık da disiplin ve tecrübeden kaynaklı. Servet amcam ve Çınar amcam kendi öz ailem dışında. Onlara çok teşekkür ediyorum. Eski takım arkadaşlarım dahil, yeni takım arkadaşlarım dahil, bütün şu ana kadar gelmiş geçmiş bütün takım arkadaşlarıma, onlar olmadan ben buraya gelemezdim. Onların emeği de çok etkiliyor takım oyunu olduğu için. Onlara da buradan çok teşekkür ediyorum. Ve beni destekleyen herkese de çok teşekkür ediyorum.
Day one of Group Red showed us plenty of promise and incredible performances. Welcome to the PUBG Mobile Global Championship Day 2 of Group Red. I'm your stage host, the 7WG. Among these teams, there's players making their first appearance at PMGC. There's excitement. Nerves are at an all-time high. But most of all, there's ambition to become the PMGC champions. I got some players down here. Let me see, can I talk to somebody that is their first PMGC? Okay, all right. It looks like I'm gonna have to pick myself. Tourniquet, I guess I choose you. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. Tourniquet, this team, I mean, for a first time at PMGC, you guys finished in first place. But before we get a little bit analytical, who's your favorite player in PUBG Mobile and why?
ใครคือนักแข่ง PUBG Mobile คนโปรดของ Tourniquet แล้วก็ทำไม
ดีพลาสเกียโนบุครับเพราะว่าเขาเล่นได้ดีครับแล้วก็สไตล์การเล่นผมชอบแบบนั้นครับก็เลยชื่นชอบครับ
It has to be D plus Kian Nobu for me because his gameplay style is very good and I like his style, so that's why I choose him.
Not a bad person to pick, considering that was MVP last year. I think he's trying to send a message out there. Now, going into today, you guys are in first place. What are you looking to do to make sure the team doesn't get complacent and fall out of the top 3?
ก็ตอนนี้เริ่มวันที่2เราอยู่อันดับที่1คิดว่า EA จะทำอะไรให้เราไม่สะดุดในการเล่นวันที่2ครับ
ก็น่าจะเล่นกันแบบผ่อนคลายครับไม่กดดันแล้วก็เล่นกันเป็นตัวเองให้มากที่สุด
We will try to play relaxed and not pressure ourselves and be ourselves.
Yeah, that's the main factor. Being relaxed, because there is other teams that do have experience at PMGC, and they're going to be hunting down these new players trying to make it to top 3. We got Regnum, WBG, and the list goes on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is day 2 of Group Red.
And just like that, day 2 has begun. We got some of the new legends joining the lobby versus some of the old kings. Maxman, Neptura. This is a big day for so many squads here. Max, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Day 1 was definitely a bit of a surprise because Group Red plays very differently from what we saw back in Group Green. So I wonder if that's going to stay the case for the entirety of this group, or today teams are going to be a bit more hungry and they're going to go super sicko mode. I think so. That could be cool.
They better, that's for sure, right? Because we got 5 more teams going home at the end of tomorrow, Neptura, right? I love that start of the show because we get to see, right, so many new players, new squads joining the PMGC for the first time. And man, some of them popped off on day 1, Neptura.
Didn't they just? It's so nice to see some fresh blood coming in and doing so well. We get new teams, new players coming in all the time, but, you know, being their first PMGC, we don't expect too much from them, but these guys have gone above and beyond, and, you know, to have a fresh player new to PMGC on a roster that's #1 currently is crazy. So big GG's to Tony K over there. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do today if that streak is going to continue.
I mean, they don't just have Tony K, they have 3 Supermans on their team.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. How are you going to stop them, Hot Juice? I don't know. It's impossible.
Yeah, pretty much, especially in Rondo for day 1, right? I guarantee you
6 of them.
Yeah.
They got the real.
That's right. They keep coming back. They will not stop. You can see right here, guys, this is the point format. You know, we got $3 million on the line. We got today, tomorrow, a day off, and then we go to last chance for 2 more days, and then we're in the grand finals. These are the teams that we're going to be seeing playing today for those that could be just tuning in for the first time. But oh my goodness, if you missed yesterday, day 1 EA, match #1, Sakura in particular, 11 points on his own in that one game. A performance we're probably not going to see for the rest of this tournament, Maxman, right? So we got to definitely give him some love for that.
That was such a mental first game on day 1 here coming out from E-Arena with that, especially 11 eliminations coming out from Sakura, right? That was a mental performance from that player in particular. And you know what? Virtus Pro, they got their position stolen away from them, Nitra. Are they going to seek vengeance in this next game on Rondo? I do wonder, but Virtus Pro definitely want to try and make sure that if they do get good position to actually win that fight, go through some of these replays and look at Sakura on that mountaintop. I mean, what do you want to do? It's too OP.
Yeah, I mean, once he had a really good position up there, it was kind of like it was solidified. It's like, okay, done deal. Time to go home, everybody. It's done. Rondo's over. Try again tomorrow. But, you know, we had a lot of teams really pop off yesterday. It was really nice to see, you know, some real consistency from Influence Rage, for instance, right? We weren't thinking we were going to see, you know, 1 team, let alone 2, be consistent top 5s every single game. It was really nice to see throughout yesterday. And I'm hoping that yesterday was good enough to give everybody a really good foundation that, as you said earlier, Max, that now today we can come in and have a little bit more risk-taking.
I mean, this is the E-Arena pre-show because they got 3 4th places in all the year angles. They were so consistent on that map. They get 4 eliminations, 6 eliminations, 8 eliminations. Sure, not quite able to convert a chicken dinner, but when you just had a win on the Rondo ahead of those 3 maps, guess what? You're not going to be budging from that first place here, Hodrick. So really the consistency from E-Arena was really a big issue for these squads, except of Miramar because they had a little bit of a bad time over there. But E-Arena, if they even do something just remotely close to their day 1 performance, top 3, they should still be there very comfortably after day 2.
Yeah, and speaking of consistency, right? Influence Rage. You see Law right there with that beautiful play towards the end. They were super consistent at the start. What were they? The first 3 matches, all top 2 finishes, right? And then they went into a 5 elimination game and then a top 4 finish. And you can see right now, these are your leaderboards. It was Flash right there at the end with some sick performances, Max, that was able to rocket launch them into second place. But I think the big storyline here, guys, that we got to definitely talk about, right, is obviously that top 3. We're starting to see some point sponges. Those last couple matches definitely started making things a little bit closer towards the top. But these teams, especially in the mid-pack, they got to start off strong today, Max.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking at Regnum Kari in particular. No chicken dinner, still 16 placement points, which is technically a really good stat in comparison to teams like Arcred that do, in fact, have a chicken dinner under their belt. But Regnum Kari, Niptra, we expect more from this team, right? Especially after the Gauntlet. I thought they'd come out a little bit more hungry here. They're still in 5th position, but if any team is going to make that ascent towards the top, it just has to be Regnum Kari, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think yesterday we were seeing a lot of weird things going on just in terms of the whole lobby, right? Is like it plays very differently. In VP, we're having problems. Regnum are a similar team. They are also having problems, but just not as much. But today, I think they have a much better chance of coming back, bouncing back, as we see the head-to-head here. We have Regnum Kari on one side and Team Flash on the other, Max. And, you know, we have the new versus the old, the inexperienced, the fresh out the gate, and the team that's been here many, many times before. So it's really interesting, Max, to see how the comparison here, what points they were actually able to get yesterday.
I mean, Win able to live up to his name on Team Flash, really good.
Yeah.
No, 41 eliminations is going to be huge. For only 4 extra placement points, able to actually gather that many more eliminations is quite significant in favor of Team Flash. So I'm very stoked and I feel vindicated. I feel so vindicated right now because I put them in my top 3 prediction and they were not cursed. Everyone in the chat, I knew it. I always believed. Okay, the Team Flash are going to pop up, and so far they had a great first day.
Beautiful for Team Flash. I'd love to see some new blood come and just crush it on day 1. A lot of those points, though, were gained on Rondo. We'll see if they can replicate that here today. And that man, Sakura, top on the leaderboards when it comes to players. And it made sense because when you get 11 matches in match number 1, you're bound to end up here, Max.
Definitely. And you know what? I saw some people in the comments talking about some of these average stats. They say, oh, but like in my games, I have 8, 9 average eliminations. I'm like, bro, this ain't PMGC you're talking about, okay? PMGC having anything over a 2 average elimination per game is mental. And right now, Sakura just going completely ballistic, especially off the back of that Rondo right now. 2.5 average elims with a survival time of almost 21 minutes is an insanely good stat to have in a global championship.
No, it really is. I mean, if you look at our Ultimate Royale matches, Max, it's nowhere near 2.5 average, and it's nowhere near PMGC level, right? So to actually have that kind of stat is really, really crazy. I'm so excited for Rondo. We saw so many really cool plays coming in here. Rondo's going to be the first one up here. We got those recalls coming in. We've got maybe Sakura popping off again. You know, we might just see just a really, really cool game once again. I'm super excited for this one.
So excited. I mean, one thing that I definitely noticed from Group Green to Group Red is that Group Red much more calculated when it comes to those end games, right? We're not seeing a lot of teams, at least in my opinion, take those crazy risks to win the game, Max, as opposed to Group Red. I think we're seeing teams be much more like, oh, you know what? We don't got zone here. Let's just get as many points as we can, which is a good strategy, right? Because that's going to get you some consistent points. Sometimes going for that risky play will end you out with nothing, right? My question is, though, at what point in this tournament where we need to start seeing that change? You know, I think it's still a little early, but eventually on, we're going to have to start seeing some of those risks, right?
Eventually. I mean, if you're at the bottom today, there's still ample space for you to make that comeback. But if you're at the bottom of the leaderboards, I'm going to say at the halfway point of today, you got to start getting a little bit desperate here, especially if you're Virtus Pro. I feel like that has been the biggest surprise, well, not surprise, upset of that day 1, right? So if there's any team that we think is going to be making that jump back, it has to be Virtus Pro.
Well, let's see if they can do it here. They're going to get it done on the Infinix GT30 series, the official gaming phone of PMGC 2025. Engineered for precision, performance, and victory, empowering every gamer to hashtag be the one and hashtag outplay the rest on the global stage. And I'll tell you what, Virtus Pro need to put those bad boys to work today because they don't need to wait till mid-game. They need to start off the rip. They had the worst performance we've seen on day one in any stage so far in PMGC. 8 points is tough. And it all started with that Sakura nade from, like, literally from heaven, right? And then boom, the whole team's gone. And I think that definitely shook them up, Niptura, but you got to shake it off here today if you want a chance of even continuing in this tournament.
Yeah, you absolutely have. I was also watching the first Miramar, right? You know how I had said, oh, I think they're just really getting interrupted in their rotations. They're not ready for that early game clash that they keep losing players. And if you look back at the first Miramar yesterday, they made a very them right in their strategy, a very them rotation from Ruins across to the north side. WBG, they come in and they interrupt that. That has been their rotation for ages. That is their set rotation. And Weibo just come in and ruin that rotation for them. So I'm really hoping today that we see VP come in with some different rotations, maybe split a little bit more, maybe, you know, just slightly different, some different pathing coming in, because they're just getting taken out way too early. And I think that's the main problem. So for Virtus Pro, we need to see just a little bit of that tweaking going on, a little bit of an adjustment when it comes to those rotations.
I feel like looking at Virtus Pro in the past, this is a team that revels in the last few minutes of a game, right? Where everything's a bit hectic, a little bit in the air. It's all about, can you hit your shots? Can you get those eliminations and wrap up the win? But as of right now, I actually want to have a conversation with you, Niptura, about this game and how day one went. I feel like the game-winning play happens in like circle, maybe sometimes 6, 5, 6. Like, and look at Weibo. They're chickened in on a wrangle, that 2-2 split, third partying to the western side on E Arena. That was the 2-2 split that literally won them the game, but you just didn't know it yet. But that was the play, and we've seen it also on the other map. So I wonder if we're going to see that kind of momentum kind of continue into the second day, because that was a very unexpected day one, in my opinion, for that group.
Yeah, I think it was really interesting thinking back on yesterday and going, you know, how different they were to Group Green, right? Group Green was a lot more aggressive, I'd say, and just their firepower, their willingness to push fights and things like that, where this group is much more interested in position, in those really big brain rotations, in the third parties. And I think yesterday was a really good foundation, not only for points, but also for that macro. And so today, what I'm hoping, Max, is that we're going to see the teams build on that and actually add another layer of maybe a little bit more aggression, maybe a little bit more of that fire within them, now that we have kind of the groundwork laid down from yesterday.
I mean, one team that's kind of able to do two different things, right? Being very smart macro-wise, but also really good at taking those fights, was Influence Rage, in my opinion. I mean, top 3, I know Hotchix is happy to see America's popping off. Let's go. With Influence Rage in top 3, but really they got a second place, a first place, a second place to kick off the first half of day one for Group Red. Amazing consistency from this team. It did fall off a little bit later on in the second half of the day, but still, it was such a good initial performance. And that was backed up by not only just good rotations, but also timing of fights. Especially that Rondo game, the way they were zoning those southern teams and playing the low ground because they knew they were not going to win versus E Arena, was exactly how you have to execute the game. So Influence Rage, for me, if there's a team that can even improve upon their initial basis of day one, it would be Influence Rage. And that team, first place, it's in the card, Hotchix. They can make it happen today and join their fellow bros of Alpha 7 in the grand finals.
Let's see if they can get it done. I sure hope so. Love to see what a Western team shows up when it comes to the PMGC global stage. Another good team was Arc Red. I think they're on point yesterday when it comes to those third parties, and they're going to need to bust that out here because we're headed into Rondo, folks. First match of the day. We're going to need some teams start popping off right off the rip here. Of course, we got our casters, John Allen and Blank. Take it away, guys, for match 1.
Oh, it doesn't ask for much, does he? He's only wanted everything all at once right at the start. Hotchix is in for the day, and I think we are too. Blank will be cracking on with Rondo. Of course, those recall beacons at the forefront of everybody's minds. That is right. Teams will be going hell for leather into the fight, and then immediately going straight back in.
Starting off strong here over on Rondo. Again, obviously, it is the most intense part of the day, right? It's where most teams get a lot of their points. Now, I do think that the deaths right now are a little bit harsh. on Regnum Kaya. Personally, that's everything else they said, you know, I'm on board with. It's the only thing I kind of disagree with right now. I think 5th place is not bad. I think considering where Regnum Kaya starts in a lot of these circles and where some of the other teams were basically able to get 3 wins off the back of, I genuinely think that Regnum Kaya is playing quite well so far, at least day 1. I think that day 2, I'd agree with the boys, Hot Juice as well as Maxman, saying that, you know, now is the time to step things up, get more points on board, because if that doesn't happen, yeah, I've got concerns. But I don't think 5th place is that bad.
It's not disastrous, right? A bit of a hard south circle as we yap on about Regnum Kaya, but yeah, it's not the end of the world. They are definitely within striking distance, right? 45 points there, 20 points behind the leaders, Arena, who generally have been fairly passive, I think it's safe to say, over the course of their games yesterday, except for obviously that first one. They had a massive gain there, but they got almost half of their points tally in just that first game alone. So for the rest of it, we've seen them stick to the edge, play quite passive, and it's definitely a catch-upable situation for teams still behind them. Not to mention all that there's 3 places up for grabs as well, so you don't even need to get into first place to qualify directly to the grand finals. We're on board with a classic hot drop between Flash and True Rippers here. So it looks like Zeus holding the staircase, has got the spot on the True Rippers, but they are aware of the angle, and he's not going to pull the trigger just yet.
You know, the Flash after yesterday played pretty damn well, 61 points, finishing things off, but they've got a stair push to deal with, and Zeus is immediately down. Win, not able to quite get to be involved in that fight versus True Rippers. You know, all things considered, it was okay. It was okay yesterday. I don't think I had too many complaints. I think there was just a couple times where on their rotates they got cut out. I still think OG had the better macro just from the initial eye test so far, but I think Troopers are playing fairly decently at the moment.
They are cracking on against Flash. Win goes down next. Doctors across the way, and you do need to be careful, Hydro. Oh, okay. Does survive another peek. I thought he was going to get shot down there, but Tops is hiding in the corner for now. The Rippers have been spotted, one on the downstairs, one on the upstairs, and Harsh has to hit the deck. Tops nearly with the transfer there, not quite able to get that second, but that is going to slow things down, give him time potentially to bring Win back in, drops back behind the wall, and will initiate that res blank. So looks like they're coming straight back as well with the regroup coming through from Bose. Steps out against Hydro, and Tops is giving them the runaround. True Rippers don't know how to handle this guy. Tops is on a tear.
Yeah, I'll give it to Hydro. That guy will fight. That guy will fight. He's taken some pretty good pushes in the past. That one was slightly overzealous there. Does get punished for it. But for True Rippers, they do have a player they send in wide, so you sort of want to try and get as much value out of this as possible, whilst still, you know, either losing this fight quick or winning it quick, because Jelly really does want to pick those players back up again. But he gets knocked off in the distance, which now makes life very difficult for True Rippers. Oh dear, this is actually very bad now.
Oh, really tough situation. I mean, for Harsh, the main goal right now should be to leave this engagement, right? Should be disengage, get away, get to a recall beacon. With your outpost taken down, Geek and Team Flash have been able to control the closest recall beacon on that northwest side. So a really rough situation. Bringing back KIO, though, is going to help a lot, right? Playing as 2, you can leave a little bit more effectively. For Flash, though, they're going to be aware now that Geek have moved in from that north side, and it could be a multi-way engagement. As the Arena lose one, Nuclear Zone able to pick that one up towards Hemetown. And a lot of other teams have actually moved towards the zone, all the way down on that south edge blank, and they have put themselves slap bang in the middle.
For Regnum Kaya, losing a player is just, it's annoying. It's very annoying. I think this is happening so much at the moment. I think some of the early rotates towards center circle, maybe a little bit aggressive at times and slightly lack of information. And they're just hoping that they get in with 4 players It is annoying, a little bit annoying at times. Very interesting fight here between the Flash and True Rippers, because the 3-1 split that the Flash went for was the exact same one as True Rippers. So Jelly just gets 1v1'd by one of the players there from the Flash. Kind of an unfortunate deal.
And they only get the 1 point for Rondo. It's not nice. But that is how the cookie crumbles this time around. Over in Hamatown, we saw Irina losing one, but they've got some time to play around with. Joker, actually, the split off, the 3-1 for them, with Alliance very close by. For Irina, it might be a little bit harder to go for that recall, but over towards Muhopan, you still have got that recall beacon available. The question is, do Alliance flex down? Do they spot it? Do they try and change things around there? Or are they going to allow this recall to come on through? Because Irina now on the back foot when it comes to rotating down from the north side.
I mean, for Alliance, like, if we're talking logically, there's absolutely no reason for them to pass through Joker. I think they could probably do a drive-by and see if there's any players there. Maybe pick yourself up 1 point and cut out Irina later on. But I think for Alliance, with this kind of circle, it is much more sensible, in my opinion, just to try and send down towards the south now. It's a long journey ahead for both these teams, so they do want to start getting in towards the circle a little bit sooner. A lot of squads are very central right now, and to do with the playing path, Arcred though moving up. Easy shots to start off with, but no dice on that one as Baby is able to come out top.
Over the bridge, far away, Arcred losing one as ETSH able to take that fight. An architectural marvel there on the suspension bridge, but no suspense on that fight. It all came crashing down pretty quickly. As Baby now looking to hold the line against Ramses as well. For Arcred, again, it's all about just getting to those recall beacons. It looks like they've already managed to do that, and they'll be picking themselves back up. ETSH, though, wants to slow this down against Ramses, force them to go for another pickup and make their lives just that little bit harder. They are on the full surround on this building. What can Ramses do here? You know, this is a big opportunity to get an extra point at pretty little to no cost, right? For Ramses, if he's able to get one, I'd say just commit for the flush. You're going to get picked up back anyway by the rest of your squad. In goes Reverb, around the corner, goes for the knock, can't quite find it. So no point earned. That's not friendly, but worse things have happened, and they will be staying as 4.
Yeah, frustrating though, considering that was not a bad spot to hold to try and get across the bridge later on. They also have Glory over towards the northwest side, you can see, and on the western edge is Easy for Bad Boy. So overall, the team is quite disparate. They are not together right now, and it is uneasy land that they have to cross going forward, and they're split off there by Geeke as well as ETSH. I'm very curious to see how they play out the rest of this game. Towards Tinlong Garden, you do have Regnum Kaya on there. Did they get back up to 4? They did. They were able to get a recall on that one, which is great news. So Wild's back into the picture. We're both very close to them over on their western side. They have lost one player, so unlikely to try and target Regnum Kaya in the near future.
Holding on the top of Tinlong Gardens might work out well for them. We'll have to wait and see if that is going to be the dominant position, or if the circle's going to have other ideas. It has been a little bit mean occasionally to a lot of our teams, except for Influence Rage. Absolutely loves those guys. They're having a great time with the circle. Over the course of yesterday, they had a couple of shifts go their way. We'll see if that repeats. Virtus Pro now crashing into ETSH. I say crashing, more just sort of slowly getting along. Low friction, it seems. Shiva's not even going to take shots. Does he realize that was an enemy? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. They're just kind of waved him goodbye. I mean, there really wasn't a team shot there for them, so they didn't want to just get popped. Especially on a rotate, you're on the western edge. Bit of an awkward EMP zone there for Virtus Pro, where they might want to try and wrap south. That actually makes things very difficult for a lot of teams on the north side of the circle. Kind of a good understanding of where teams are coming from. Luckily, the EMP zone does dissipate. There's a little replay from earlier. That's that shot over towards Jelly. It was off on the sidelines. There was definitely the thought there of going for the 3-1. Unfortunately, it does get caught out. For Virtus Pro, though, here's their big challenge. It's Weibo in front of them. Suk is immediately down. An order's going to send away. For Virtus Pro, they desperately want a better day than yesterday. It was horrid and not at all what we expected from Virtus Pro as a team.
No, they sat in last place right now. For Virtus Pro, this is not going to be feeling good. They've already kicked off taking down Soup, though. One of the stronger players in the lobby. But Weibo are now kind of floundering on 3 players. With the high ground completely controlled by Virtus Pro for the time being, they really have to just hunker down. I don't think that they're going to be able to get towards a recall beacon blank. There's a couple minutes left on them, but it's not really going to be super accessible. They're going to have to play on us too, which is not good news. Virtus Pro should be happy about that. And the shift goes out to the western side there, out a little bit away from that central area. So teams going to have to maneuver around this one. Although a lot of teams in that Tinlong Gardens area, they're going to be able to stay put for the time being.
Yeah, interesting finish as well. You got 2 really big high grounds in terms of those pillars that sit down towards that south side. So teams can technically play around there. They also are quite good at cutting off sight lines, enabling it to take an approach. I think for Geeke as well as ETSH, like realistically, you want to try and control this southwest edge because it is isolated a little bit more. Reckon Kaya though spots DRX rotating in. There's a lot of damage to start off the innings here for Reckon Kaya.
Ooh, they've managed to find 1 knock, but DRX will start to put themselves back together now after the opening salvo. Looks like only the 1 will be found. That flush does come through, though, which puts them at a permanent disadvantage. And the nade is not going to tag on, but the shot's already landed up the hill. So DRX in a little bit of danger. Regnum Kaya maybe looking to chase this one down, as DRX don't really have time for the res. Maybe pop him into a vehicle and see if he can get away. But DRX have 2 fights now, as ETSH are going to chime in and join in on the bullying against DRX as Soez starts to bleed out. Silas, though, has bigger problems. It's the Burmese ghouls actually chiming in. So 4 teams now scrapping on these hills away from Tinlong Gardens. And you do need to be careful because Rectum Kai, I mean, they've already fully lost Silas now.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, where Burmese ghouls are playing as well is a pretty known spot. So I don't understand how Silas gets picked off there, tries to rotate around maybe to try and get some shots over towards DRX. I think that they are concerned with the amount of eliminations that they've been getting yesterday, and they wanted to bump those up a little bit. I think Rondo's so hectic that you can't really afford to be making those commits like that. Again, it's hard. It's hard to say if the sidelines are available. It is a very, very awkward circle overall. Hyunbin attempts to go grab the recall beacon, but it was camped out by Havlik, which is fair enough. Gets himself an elimination and will be able to get EXO back in the fight. So a great play from him.
Yeah, nice little find, nice little pick up there. Hyunbin drives out into the blue, thinks it's going to be safe. No, of course not. The balls are still out there.